भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। एवम् उपनिषत् निर्वचनेनैव विशिष्टः अधिकारी विद्यायाम् उक्तः। Yeah. So, evam means in this manner, in this way, the enunciation or the reading of the word Upanishad, the derivation and the understanding of the word Upanishad, what does it indicate? It already indicates a special Vishishtah, means a person who is qualified for this knowledge is pointed out by the very word itself. That's what he's saying. So the word Upanishad points out the person who is equipped to study. How? Which part? All the parts. All the parts. Which part doesn't? So sad means what? Dissipate, destroy, and then take towards oneself. Who will be interested in that? The one who wants to go towards oneself and the one who has something to get dissipated and destroyed. Correct? Who doesn't have anything to destroy and dissipate? Everyone. So it's got a universal appeal, because really everyone is a potential mumukshu. Everyone is really a mumukshu. Sometimes they just don't know it. That's all. That's the only question. They don't recognize themselves as a mumukshu. Therefore they keep going for freedom somewhere else, because everybody wants freedom. So in that sense, the sadhu word already brings in the adhikari, because somebody who is not interested in destruction, who wants to maintain the status quo, will not come to this knowledge, or so they think, And then what about upa and ni?
Coming closer.
And then upa also means, what's the one word is to come close. The other meaning of the word upa is what? What does upa refer to? Oneself. Yeah. So do you have a self? Why is taking so long to respond?
Yes.
Yeah, so then that means you are qualified for self-knowledge. So what is the first qualification of self-knowledge? I should exist. That's... So really speaking, now the jokes aside, here what is being said is that the upa, the two meanings of upa, what are the two meanings? Self and also approaching for help, the one from whom you can gain this knowledge, the teacher. Approaching closely oneself or approaching closely either the truth of oneself or someone who can deliver the truth of oneself, both are talked about. And so this approach is what? Self-knowledge. All right. So there also who will approach? Tell me. Is someone who is interested in malls will approach Upanishad? Huh?
Yes.
Maybe? No. The one who is only going to movies and malls, will they approach the Upanishad? No. Because they are busy going, because that's what interests them. If you say, will you come to Upanishad? They will say, when did that get released? If you say, are you interested in Mundaka? And they will say, what is the cast? Who is starring in it? Yeah. Is it Hollywood or Bollywood? Yeah, now there is Kollywood. What is Kollywood? Karnataka is called Kollywood. Okay. And Tollywood.
It's Nollywood from Nigeria.
Nollywood. So now there is already, yeah. Other than sandalwood, every other wood is there in the entertainment industry. So they will say, if you say, what about Mandukya? Are you interested in Mandukya? They will say, what kind of a celebrity is it? Which Hollywood celebrity are you talking about? So in other words, they are not interested in this. So if somebody, is interested in self-knowledge, is interested in taking a U-turn, is interested in destroying notions of incompletion, only such a person will be drawn to that. So the word Upanishad brings in the adhikari just by its very derivation. Do you see how it does that? Adhikari means the person both interested in it and qualified and equipped to gain this knowledge. Both of them it brings in. Further, Vishayascha Vishishtaha Uktaha Vidyayaha Param Brahma Pratyagatma Bhutam. Yeah. And what about the subject matter? Because we said there are 4 things. He's just elucidating how the Upanishad talks about the 4 things. So the subject matter is also shown to be a unique thing, because I told you that every book has to justify the subject matter and has to say what is the subject matter. So this Upanishad or any Upanishad has a unique adhikari who is interested in it. Vishishta means special, a special adhikari. It's not your run-of-the-mill movie and mall goer who is going to be interested in this, because they are only interested in talking about the trending situations, which movie is making how many millions, oh I have to see that. And then otherwise, if they're not interested in these kinds of situations, some people are only into, what is that called, the news. All the time they have the CNN blaring in the background, always, as though the news is going to change, and as though CNN is going to change. CNN is notorious for giving leftover news all the time. Especially, how are they going to even justify their existence? Because every minute they are supposed to come up with something new. So they come up in very interesting ways. They give the same thing, they repack it in a new title. Yeah. And so this fellow thinks it's new subject matter. It's not. It's the same Vishaya put in a new, new facelift. Like when that flight went, in the water, that Malaysian flight. They were just, same news it would be. And in the beginning, especially, everybody was so anxious, the relatives, etc., and all of us, everybody was anxious. Oh, what happened? And this is what is that mining into the common psychology and exploiting the collective psychology. How would they do that? They would say that new lead discovered. It was not a new lead. It was the same old lead expressed newly. It was a leading title. That's all. And then, or they would say that, they would sort of have some kind of a human interest angle, like, oh, this person is the wife of this flight attendant or something like that. And then everybody is going into that thinking that it's the whole story of their marriage and what happened, and everybody is interested in this kind of a tear-jerker story, and it makes you feel sad, it makes you feel good at the same time, and then but then what that person was and that's only 2 lines of the story. The rest of it is the same thing which you had read before. Yeah. So you see that's what, so here in the Jagat, nothing is new really. Yeah, it's the same old, same old, same old, same old, same old. You think about the Jagat, what is new? Today is new. How is it new? How is it different from yesterday? What were we doing same time yesterday? So, and what did you have for lunch yesterday? Okay, I had this, this and this. What are you going to have today? This, this and this. And even though the specificities of the this and this will change, they will be, the food groups are same old, correct? You can't invent a new food group. No, I'm into alpha. All right, you graze in the front lawn for lunch, and being a macrobiotic, you go behind in the backyard, you go for dinner. But still, it's the same thing. Yeah. Some cow samskara is still there. Cow karmic impression. Yeah. Last life, you were eating the grass directly. Now you're putting into a juicer and calling it wheat grass smoothie. That's the only difference. Yeah. You just move with, you don't move with pleasure when the mixie is going, when it's blending, that's all. So, it's all same old, same old. How many new clothes you will buy? Same old. Something to cover the top, something to cover the legs. That's all. Same old, same old. Or you can wear kind of a toga, the whole thing you can cover. Same old, same old. What are you going to do that is new? No, sleep is new. How is it new? All the time you're sleeping anyway. Same old, same old. Food is not new, sleep is not new, going to work certainly is not new. That's why people are sick of it. Is the weekends new? Well, not really new. Why? Because weekends are also, they have some similarities. What are the similarities? On Friday it's crash because 5 days of working. Like a computer you crash. And then on Saturday you just go to town. You do whatever you want. You just feel like a wild animal that has been left out of the cage. You just go to town. And Sunday you're exhausted, but Sunday you cannot rest because you have to make lunches for the next few days. You have to get ready and then you have to plan. Even if you don't make it, you have to plan and you have to go shopping. You have to get the children and their things ready and you have to clean the house because you've lived like a pig for 6 days, and on the 7th day if you don't clean, on Monday you will not find anything. And then laundry you have to do because all you have is one handkerchief remaining, and so you have to do all these things. So what is new this weekend? Same old, nothing, And simply they say TGIF. And what is this TGIF? Thank God it's Friday. Thank God it's Friday means what? Nothing. It's same old, same old. Oh, in the morning I check emails. What emails? Same old, same old. Same old junk messages, same old non-junk messages, same old message from junkies, same thing. Yeah. Email junkies. And this is all it is. News, same old, same old. Views, same old, same old. Movies, same old, same old. Same thing. Some, and then they are all nationally choreographed themes. The American popular imagination cannot get over some conspiracy theory. Somewhere there's a huge conspiracy and something bad is going to happen. And a group of superheroes or one superhero assisted by some chelas. And chela means what? Students, assistants, sidekicks. And so sycophants, whatever you want to, take it. Really it means students, but in this case sycophants. So this fellow, because he's not a guru, so this fellow assisted by some chelas, some sycophants, goes and storms through this secret and saves the United States of America from something bad happening. The bomb that was ticking or something that would have blown up the whole country or the president or something like that. This is the popular. And in between, of course, they'll have some hugs and kisses and it's a love story. And and sometimes they have a little more masala because the hero belongs to the side of the good and the heroine belongs to the side of the not very good or something like that, they, to do this. This is the American popular imagination. Every movie has these ingredients. Same Vishaya, same Adhikari, same Prayojana, same Sambandha. What is the Sambandha? I don't have a brain. That's the connection. Why do I go to see this movie? I want something, and people say this, I want something mindless. I want to just, mindless means what? I don't want to focus on anything. If it is predictable, I'd like to just go, mindlessly eat my popcorn and just watch this and then get lost in the familiar. This is what it is. Now you go 10,000 miles away to Bollywood, there also we have our popular imagination. Here we have a conspiracy theory. There is an age-old feud between families for 500 years, like Romeo Juliet-esque. Yeah. And now the science of both those families who have not even looked at each other, let alone talked to each other. They in the beginning they lived in the villages, but now they are big because nobody is interested in seeing village bells, pun intended. And so therefore they have moved to the city. Now they are the science of these powerful families, rich and warring families. Now they are in the city, and what are they? They are big corporate magnates. Of course, they compete with each other. They just undercut each other, and then what? The offspring of one of them falls in love with the other, often unknowingly. Yeah. And so this is what happens. And then what? Then you have to have some very important scenes. You have to have them run around trees and sing. And they must have really strong lungs, because that requires a lot of effort. Of course, it's all shadow music, it's playback singing. So they play karaoke in front of the trees. They run behind the trees, and then they change their clothing 5-6 times in the course of 3 stanzas, just to show time has passed and they are having a good time. And then in the end, they take this bitterness to a horrid conclusion sometimes, where where they see that everything is being destroyed, the families are being destroyed, the children are being destroyed, and then finally the old patriarch has some sense driven into him, and then convinces the other family that these two should be together. This is what it, even today, this is all the movies, more or less. You don't want, if you've seen it once, one movie you've seen them all. You've seen them, all of them. So they nowadays, before they were, sending, planning and plotting their destruction by, what should I say, by inciting the village rebels. Now they do it via SMS. That's the only difference, Yeah. Now all the gadgets, everything is used. This is all it is. Or the other common theme is poor boy marrying or falling in love with rich girl. Obviously they cannot come together. Or rich boy falling in love with poor girl. And so this is what is new here? Nothing. And who are the people attracted to this kind of movies? Who are the adhikaris? Nothing. What is the prayojana? Nothing. Nothing new in the prayojana. You either get rid of the headache if you went in with one, or you come out with a headache if you didn't go in with one. That's all it is. It's just a little fluff designed to what? Take you out of your element. Because you cannot stand yourself. You get lost in someone else's life, some mythical figure's life, so that you get some idea, some feeling. And even here, the whole conspiracy theory and someone's out to get our country is really all about how, and if you analyze these common plots of the movies, you get an inkling of the person's sense of self, who subscribes to this. And in the United States, despite all its talk about agency, that we are the leaders and we are the, we are the cat's cream, we show people the way and we go and interfere in everyone's life because we are the people, number one. This is what it is. Despite having that philosophy, really truly the person's sense of self is based on victimization from another. So it's all about putting up defenses and offenses. It's all about shielding this so-called self. Here self doesn't mean Atma. What is self? Ego, ahankara. Shielding this knower, the one who is engaging in action and who is eating the fruits of actions. Shielding the karta bhokta from other karta bhoktas. And here, in fact, one identifies as a bhokta, I am just being targeted. It's actually a story. The story of the United States sense of self generally is a narrative of victimization. It's not a narrative of victory. Even though they may beat their chest and talk about all victory, but deep down inside, it's an insecurity personified. Oh, I never got what I want. And I'm going to try, therefore I'm a go-getter. I want to go get it. But really feeling the go-getter comes from feeling I never got it. And I'm not going to get it. And I'm not going to tolerate someone else taking it away. That's where the competition comes. It's very interesting when you see the psychological sense of self that these, multimedia, coming from different countries come up with. And in India, it's always about hierarchy. Yeah. It's always about one's place in the hierarchy and rebelling against that. Yeah, that's why these feuds. I'm not going to do what the elders did. I may be poor, but I have every right to fall in love with a rich person. This is what it is. It's all about hierarchies and negotiating your place in the hierarchy, rebelling your place against the hierarchy. So, finding a sense of self other than this hierarchy, so that not letting the hierarchy define you. Such movies do very well in India. Oh, they just become blockbusters. They are amazing. So this is what it is. So you can see where the pitfalls are, even on the relative level of what is this adhikari or whatever it is. When you look at the popular media, this is what you see. But then really speaking, the popular media, what does it do? Same thing it does. It doesn't do anything new. So the adhikari is not new. The prayojana, mindlessness, is not new. The sambandha, the connection between the adhikari and the subject matter, not new. The subject matter is certainly not new. Everything is canned. Canned entertainment, even if it's can, doubly canned. And then, canned entertainment, canned psychology of the people responding to the entertainment, canned adhikari, canned purpose. What is the purpose? To be mindless. That's all it is. Then you go to the malls because it's a total institution. You never have to come out. When you go in, it's scary. Yeah. What all you will find in the mall? You will find shops. Nowadays there are grocery stores also. You can do your groceries on this side and your other shopping on the other side. Then there is a hair cutting place will be there. So in between you go get your hair cut. Of course there is a food place where all the restaurants of all the world congregate in this area. What is that called? Something is called.
Food court.
Court. Yes. Yeah. It's a food court right in the center. And everybody, and free tables, chairs, free napkins, free spoons, free forks. You can just go and, go to town there. You can spend the whole day there. Then there are all these other things, hair cutting and nail places, all these things are there. Then what is also interesting is that nowadays there are doctors and dentists' offices either right in the mall and pharmacy, or right across in the next building next to it. And there are movie theaters in the mall, correct? Yeah, or right next to it. Movie theaters are there. And then for children, this parlor, what is that called? Arcade. What is that? Video games arcade for teenagers and children. And for younger ones, even in the courtyard of the mall, in that food court, some bouncy things and moving, ducks and horses, and you put the money and then it goes. Yeah, it goes like this or it goes up and down. Once you go in, tad gatva na nivartante, you never come out. Scary. It's a total institution and they want it like that, because the longer you stay there and you think it is a new mall, it's not new. Now that's why I have changed the spelling of mall. How do I spell? What is the spelling of mall?
M-A-U-L.
M-A-U-L. Mall. Because it mauls you of your paycheck and of your sanity. What else is left? Nothing. Mauls you also of your Vedantic adhikaritvam. If there is any little bit there, that also erodes. That's all it is. And so these malls, are notorious, and they keep popping up. And each time you say it is new. What is new? It's the same thing. In fact, the layout is also not new. It's all the same exact thing. And even if you take one grocery store, any grocery store, the layout is exactly the same. One side vegetables, one side this, and there also they use the psychology to make you spend more. They have done research on the kinds of music they play. And they have found that certain kind of music subconsciously makes you hungry. And they play those in the grocery store. So even if you have gone after a complete, you have breakfast and go, suddenly reaching there, listening to these subliminal, messages, you start feeling hungry. Yeah. And then they use the psychology in other ways. Some stores will write everything on a chalkboard, to conjure up times from markets past, where The orange came freshly from the gardens, and now just now it has come. So I'm it's not a printed label because I'm writing it. It has just come, and it's fresh. No such thing. Yeah, the chalkboard also has not changed. Yeah, that's all. And maybe it's painted over there to look like a chalkboard. It's not really a chalkboard. And another thing they will do is keep even the toy stores do this, the grocery stores do this, keep all the sugary stuff within the reach of ages 4 and 5, so that they don't have to even go look high. They can just grab all the sugariest of cereals. The mother is looking for cornflakes, and then and this child has said, "Don't worry, I already got the cereal that I want." This is what it is. And those are, packaged with glossy, eye-catching colors. Orange, very eye-catching. Yeah, that's why we wear that. And red, yellow, these are the yellow and orange, very much. This is all the color psychology. And then they use another psychology. How many times do you go to the store saying, I'm just going to pick up one thing, I just need some milk? And then you come back with 5 bags. Did you intend to come back with 5 bags? No. Then what happened? What happened was that the milk was kept so far away that I had to walk 6 aisles to get it. And then of course I'm going to look, I'm not blind. And so I looked to the left, looked to the right and said, that looks nice, this is on sale. Why not I buy 5 of this? Because buy 4, get 1 free. And like this you accumulate, 100 things when you want one thing. So like this, even though there is all these newnesses promised and uniqueness promised, none of the subject matters, none of the vishayas and none of the prayojana, what they promise or who they are targeted as is new. Nothing is new. What is truly new is the Atma. You, the one who thought I am the jaded one, is indeed the newest thing. You are ever new, ever present. And why are you ever new? Because you are beyond time, you are beyond space. So the newness that never wears off, because you are in the form of all knowledge. I am, new I am, new I am, new, no history, no mystery. New I am. And this new I am is forever, because this is what, how can the new be forever? Because it is birthless and deathless. So that which is new alone is forever, and the only thing that is new is myself, which is taught, the truth of myself, taught by the Upanishad. That's the only new thing. So you see, everyone is a mumukshu because everybody is seeking the new and the forever at the same time. I want this mall to be a new experience and make me happy forever. I want this movie to be life-changing. I want this experience to be total. I want this marriage to succeed. And every marriage the same vow, this is forever. 7th marriage also, this is forever. This is what the whole thing is. So what I am really searching for, and this is the adhikari who knows oneself, the adhikari who knows himself and herself as such, will declare that what I am searching for is the now, which should last somehow forever. And even though logically it seems not possible, why are you craving for it? If the now can never last forever, why do you have that desire? Perhaps that is my nature. That is what I have to see. This is where the leap of Shraddha comes, and perhaps it is my nature. And so you see, the only thing that is new is you, and perhaps what else is new is the subject matter that deals with this you that you crave to get to know, which is now, which is forever. So the Vishaya is new, because unlike the mall and the ball and the movies, it does not promise a rehash of the same thing. So that's why Kathopanishad, when you study, and then you say, okay, Mundakopanishad, what's new? It is new. Yeah. That's why the same thing, even if it comes again, there is not the boredom. There is no boredom, unless one is not prepared. If you're not prepared, this is very boring. If you're prepared, there's nothing more exciting, more interesting, and nothing more than this. Because you are engaged totally. If you're prepared, you're engaging with it all the time. And you never get tired of yourself. Even if you think yourself to be just the body, you don't get tired of it. That's why even someone who is 92 passes a reflecting surface like a store front window that has got a face like a road map full of lines, still will stop and look. Yeah. So the Upanishad is that mirror which is clean and which offers the best reflection of you now and forever, pun intended. That's why you never get tired of yourself. You never get tired of looking at yourself. You never get tired of doing things for yourself. You never get tired of reveling in the self, because that self alone is the source of happiness. And to say this, he's saying, he's making us think, Adi Shankara is making us think that he's just dryly narrating the Vishaya, Adhikari, Prayojana and Sambandha. But actually he has woven into it how the Upanishad alone is new. So he says, Vishishta Adhikari, the special person. Who is the special person? The unique person. The one who has delineated the source of the problem as the I, not the not I. And what is the special, special subject matter? He says the special subject matter of the Upanishad is is the truth of oneself, is the knowledge of oneself as Param Brahma. That this Param Brahma, this absolute forever wholeness that I am searching for, is really Pratyagatma, my own innermost self. That which indwells this body, mind, sense complex is the truth of the universe. It's a special subject matter. You won't find this subject matter run of the mill anywhere. That's why it is so unique. It's a unique subject matter meant for unique people who have distinguished themselves from the teeming millions by desiring this knowledge, or rather by knowing that the truth of their desires lies in delineating themselves as this person, who is interested in the knowledge. So this is what the whole thing is. So the subject matter is special. And then what? Prayojanam cha asyaha Upanishadaha Atyantiki Samsara Nivrittihi Brahma Prapti Lakshana. Yeah, so he says, third thing, Prayojanam. What is the use of this Upanishad? This Upanishad's purpose is Atyantiki Samsara Nivrittihi. Atyantiki Samsara Nivrittihi is absolute decimation. Atyantiki means extreme decimation. Means samsara is booted out of existence, is routed, razed to the ground. Absolute cessation of samsara, meaning not even a little bit comes back. It's been shot so many times that it cannot rise up again. So the absolute cessation of samsara, which is connected to what? The attainment of oneself as Brahman. Yeah. And the absolute cessation means two things here, And what are the two things? One is in this life itself. This is very important to note. That this is not a heaven-bound, book. In this life itself, there is no more samsara for the person reading this or studying this. And no more samsara means what? I am unafflicted by all that I see. I am unafflicted by all that I interact. I am unafflicted by all that I encounter. Why? Why are you unafflicted? Because I know the status of that which I encounter. What is the status of that which I encounter? Mithya. Means it is all a dependent reality on me. So the Jagat is a superimposition on this I. All that is the Jagat with its myriad world of names and forms is just a superimposition on this I. So the Jagat does not need to be destroyed, need not be destroyed. What needs to be destroyed is my ignorance, thinking that it is separate from me and that it has an absolute existence. So there cannot be two absolutes. So therefore I think of myself as the relative and the Jagat as the absolute, which is the problem. Satyam becomes Mithya, Mithya becomes Satyam. This is what is called Anyonya Adhyasa, mutual superimposition. So here, what needs to be destroyed is not the apparent reality of duality. What needs to be destroyed is my cognition of this duality as real. So when the duality is declassified from Paramarthika to Vyavaharika, in these military language, you declassify a file, first you keep it very secret, and then nobody knows its content, and then after that president has died and so many years later, this file connected, for example, you say files relating to the Vietnam War, declassified, meaning it is available now to see. So that is what declassified. So first I thought that the relative reality is absolute. I kept that a secret. I suffered silently and I complained. I didn't know how to resolve it. And what did the Upanishad do? Made it public. Declassified this reality. It no longer belongs in this Paramarthika bin. It is in the bin of Vyavaharika. Yeah. That's what it is. So it has been the file has been thoroughly made threadbare, looked into and declassified as from the absolute. It has gained the status of relative, which the file of samsara, the file of duality. So the duality refuses to, cannot have an effect on me when I refuse to take it as real. When I see myself as real, the duality is just an extension of that reality, a dependent extension, an apparent extension. So therefore, I am not bothered by it because I have strengthened myself to be so much in keeping with this, with the truth of who I am, that nothing bothers me. Everybody is an extension of me. So what duality? And this is cognitively gained. Otherwise, how am I going to understand that the duality is just a superimposition? So this is how the samsara absolutely goes away. Samsara goes away doesn't mean Jagat goes away. I'm enlightened and I'm saying, where did everybody go? What happened? I'm in a vacuum. No, not like that. Jagat remains, but you don't look at it with colored glasses, two colored glasses, raga glasses and dvesha glasses. That the glasses are not necessary because the vision of myself as the only truth is clear, and whatever is projected is a projection, is an extension of this I, and that cannot, and the extension cannot, fight with me. Like the left hand cannot keep beating up the right hand. It makes no sense. It's all me. That's one level. Another level is saying, what Jagat? Where is it? Yeah. Where is the Jagat? You see Jagat? I don't see Jagat. Yeah. There is nothing to contend. There is nothing to contest. All there is I. And that I is enough, is more than enough, is more than sufficient to revel in. And that I alone is the source of happiness. And that I alone is the source of absolute joy, absolute freedom from that which I thought was absolute before, which was samsara. And this alone, here alone lies my reprieve. I know that. And therefore, Atyantiki, I'm explaining. Atyantiki means extreme. This extreme, not aversion. This is not aversion to samsara. It is seeking, it is the extreme cessation of seeking samsara as a diversion. Do you see the difference? It's not an aversion. Yeah. It is stopping engaging in it as a means of diversion. That's different. Yeah. The sadhu or the enlightened person does not hate the world, but yet keeps away from it because it no longer needs it to entertain, to be a source of entertainment. That is what the whole thing is. So there's a big difference between aversion and diversion. So I don't use this jagat as a means of diverting my attention from myself, because my attention on myself is not bringing up self-loath, self-judgment, fear and other things that are needing to be distracted. In fact, all it is a merging in the truth of that joy alone. That alone is there, nothing else is there. That is what the whole thing is. And so here, that's why he says, Atyantiki, samsara nivritti lakshana, brahma prapti lakshana cha. So he says that the connection between, what is the prayojana? The prayojana is the absolute cessation of samsara. And what is the connection? The connection is between the absolute cessation of samsara and the gain of Brahman, there is a connection, correct? Yeah, one is the end, the other is the means. So the gain of Brahman is the means for, the gain of Brahman means the gain of the truth of oneself. Knowing the truth of oneself is indeed the means for the cessation of samsara. So the means and connection is there. So the prayojana, so you cannot say what is the use of studying this Upanishad. When you study this Upanishad, what Adi Shankara promises is samsara will drop for you. You will no longer be afflicted by what you don't think you are. And then he says, samsara nivrittihi is equal to brahma prapti lakshana, meaning that I don't have to first have samsara nivritti and then brahma prapti lakshana. It is simultaneous. Okay? Yeah. Sambandhascha evam bhuta prayojanena uktaha. It says now the connection between the knowledge has already been mentioned. Because when I talked about the prayojana, when I talked about the purpose, I already talked about the connection. Because the knowledge is needed for the removal of ignorance. That is the connection. And the removal of ignorance cannot be eradicated through karma, through work. It's a cognitive process, because the adhyasa, my superimposition of my happiness onto not I, is cognitive. So this is also cognitively removed. So he says, I have already talked about this sambandha, the connection. Ataha yathokta adhikari vishaya prayojana sambandhayaha vidyayaha karatala nyasta amalakavat prakashatvena vishishta adhikari vishaya prayojana sambandha etavalyah bhavanti iti atah taha yatha pratibhanam vyachakshmahe. Yeah. So now he says, where did we start? Ataha. Yeah. Ataha yathokta. Ataha means therefore. Therefore, yathokta, as mentioned, adhikari vishaya prayojana sambandhayaha. So, as mentioned earlier, these the for the person, for the adhikari, and for this kind of an adhikari. What kind? Evam bhutam. Like, yeah, Vishishta. The one which was mentioned before as Vishishta. So as far as this fourfold criteria goes, he says that as was mentioned before, for a unique adhikari qualified by the word Vishishta, who those students who are competent in their studies and then who have a subject matter and then a unique subject matter which we discussed, a unique purpose and a special connection, So this composite of this Upanishad, which has a special adhikari, a special sambandha, a special prayojana, special purpose, special subject matter, special effect of the study and a special connection. And when all these come together, correct? What happens? He says the knowledge falls in the hand like a amla fruit, ripe amla fruit. Perhaps he had just named his student Hasta Malaka when he did this. Say Haste Amalakaha Iva, Amalaka Iva, Amalakavat, Haste Amalakavat, like even a ripe fruit. Doesn't matter if you don't know what amla fruit is, doesn't matter. Like even the ripe fruit falls into the hand when it is ripe, of course. What does it do? It just falls into the hand. It just drops. Correct? And you are very lucky because you happen to be going under the tree. Tree is Vishaya, correct? And you are the correct adhikari in the right place at the right time. And then what? The fruit is prayojanam. It falls into the hand, and the connection of the adhikari and the Vishaya is, the two should be in the one place. At this adhikari should contact the Vishaya, so you are under the tree, correct? And the prayojana, the fruit falls into the hand. How? Effortlessly. And gaining this in the hand, you are happy because you were in the right place at the right time and your efforts were rewarded, and that is the connection here. And so the connection is all just so beautifully elaborated, says. And he says that this Upanishad, the adhikari, Vishaya, Sambandha, Prayojana are all cleanly delineated, so much so that the knowledge just falls into the palm of the adhikari's hand, like even a ripe fruit without any effort detaches itself from the tree. You can take one way. Or if you take this myrobalam, that's the gooseberry, amala, amla, and this gooseberry is such that it is a tree within reach. It's not like the what is that, date tree? Yeah. First you have to contact the date tree to have a date with it. I mean, it is so far. In fact, we have a saying, don't grow up like the date tree. The parents will tell the children, "Bada hua to kya hua." This is Kabir, Saint Kabir's couplet. "Bada hua to kya hua, jaise ped khajur, panthi ko chhaya nahi, phal lage ati dur." What is the use of growing tall and big and huge like even the date tree? It offers no shade for the traveler, and the fruits are so far away, too far away to enjoy. So the example here of the fruit is the gooseberry. The gooseberry fruit is not, what's its name? It's a bush. Yeah, thorny, but it's a bush. And once the adhikari knows how to negotiate the thorns, it is very easy to pick the gooseberry. You don't have to have a ladder. You don't have to have something to, it's effortless. So that's why he gives that thing. Not that it falls into your hand, but may as well say that you are the possessor of this knowledge, provided all these things are lined up. The correct subject matter, which includes what? The book, the teacher, the bhashya, everything, and the correct special adhikari, which is all the people studying this, and the special connection, meaning that the connection between the study and the droppage of samsara, and the prayojana, which is the dropping of samsara, and no more confusion about the I and the not I. So this is the thing. So he says, for such people, when everything comes together, these fourfold things are very clear, and then these cantos, vallis, are meant for these people because these cantos of the Kathopanishad reveals the truth like the fruit placed in the hand, you know. And so therefore the alignment of the special adhikari, special subject matter, special purpose, I have already explained. And okay, then what else is remaining to explain? He says, prakashatvena vishishta adhikari vishaya prayojana sambandha eta, you know, I have already explained, eta valyaha bhavanti. So now he says, we shall explain these vallis to the best of our understanding. To the best of our understanding, now we will, explain the text. Meaning, I am concluding this introduction. With this, by talking about how this particular Upanishad so eloquently reveals her subject matter, reveals who is competent, and reveals the special, unique place by the story of Nachiketa, shows to reveal the special competence the student has. And I'm also going to reveal I'm also going to show you how this Upanishad is going to reveal the connections and the purpose, the dropping of samsara, and so eloquently, and that this Upanishad, the study of this Upanishad is so clear that at the end of it you feel effortlessly like a fruit, a beautiful, healthy. Amala is also very healthy. It's full of antioxidant. So, a fruit of youth, really. So, this fruit of youth means this fruit of newness, and the fruit that will never go bad, and that brings out the best in you. I'm going to explain how this is going to come about, and how this Upanishad brings it all about. So saying, he concludes. And so shall we for today. Tomorrow, not tomorrow, we will see on Tuesday. Because Saturday, Sunday we have what? Mundaka Upanishad. So we will see this class will continue again at the same time on Tuesday. Before we conclude, we will chant the first mantra of the text. Ushan Havai Vajashravah Vajashravasah Sarvavedasam Dadau Tasyah Nachiketa Nama Putra Asa Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om